Right, guys, welcome back. It's the Above Average FPL podcast. It's 2024, and as always, joined by Baker. How you doing, mate?
Happy New Year, mate. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everyone. How we doing?
Yeah,
We good?
we are good, mate.
Buzzing, mate. Absolutely buzzing. 5 in a row.
The lights. It's all about the
It
lights.
is the lights. You did say it was the lights. So now the lights will stay green for as long as possible. How many greens do we think we can get in a row?
I don't know. Not like both of us as well. Like that's amazing because it's not like me and you have the same team.
No.
It's like quite different captains, different formation. You know, all of it has been different. But 5 greens in a row, incredible, and 200 episodes.
200 episodes of the podcast. This is the 200th episode of the podcast. We've done some other video stuff and some streams and stuff that isn't released as pod. But yeah, this is the 200th podcast that we've done. Madness.
Cheers, mate.
I haven't got a drink. I'm not that well
prepared. So I am drinking a whiskey. My wife got me this for anniversary, not last year, the year before, and it's just finished. It's a 24-year-old bourbon, which you don't see those very often in terms. Certainly, bourbon's not very aged well, but 24 years old one. And I was like, I'm finishing that because I only ever drink it for Green Arrow. And I was like, that's a good one. I was like, yes, 200 episodes. Her response was, yes, well, we've been married 9 years, but that basically says you've basically been spent a year of it on the pods to Adam. 200 is not quite a year, but it's quite a lot of days.
It's quite a lot of days. It's quite a lot of evenings.
Quite a lot. Considering it was just like, yeah, two mates who want to watch, and talk about football on a Sunday night.
We do reminisce quite a lot about that. I do enjoy
it's
that.
It's escalated.
Yeah, it's escalated, but no, it's all good. It's all good. New Year good, Christmas good. I guess we've spoken since Christmas, haven't we? But yeah, New Year good.
Christmas. Yeah, pretty good. Nothing big. Went up for a few drinks, but
yeah, same. And we've now obviously game week 20 is just finished, so that's good. But we've got all sorts of issues coming up now. We've got probably the worst structured game week in the history of the game coming up across about 14 days. Which is going to be incredible. Can't wait for all the team leaks for that last game, like 5 minutes before they get released. 13 days after the deadline. I don't even know what game that is, but it's going to be like, Núñez starts. Shit, I didn't bring him into my team.
God. Yeah, I texted you earlier and said, if Jota plays full game against Arsenal and then rests midweek, then that'd sway me a little bit. That doesn't work because he actually plays another Carabao game before he'd actually play that game.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got so much stuff where we just don't know.
We're just going to be pissing in the wind, mate. It's going to be literally. It's going to be what we're saying all the time, right? Get the guys with the high minutes. Get the guys that you know with the high minutes, and just get yourself through.
Who did you put your bus captain on?
I haven't changed it. I don't think. Have I? No, I've still got Alvarez as my captain. So I haven't changed anything yet. I just moved my my guys heading off to AFCON and the Asian Cup onto the bench.
I've seen quite a few put their bus on Palmer. I just stuck on Saka immediately. I was like, put it on Saka and then work it out later. But that was before Saka had even played. And then I was like, oh yeah, maybe Palmer home to Fulham. Do you think you could do the early kickoff on the Saturday, my birthday, by the way, just in case you forgot.
Didn't forget, mate, don't worry.
And then you've got to sit with that for 9 days.
Yeah. mid game week ranks are going to be all over the place.
Oh, it's going to be horrendous.
Like one game a day. It's basically like one game a day. Well, no, it's 2, isn't it? 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot will do a Saka or a Bowen just because they're on the second weekend.
How can you do that? I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to aim for the first weekend because like what happens if like within
break down and training.
Well, yeah, like you said, like Jota, right? For example, like if you had say someone that just got injured, right?
You've at least got to put one of your vice or captain on Palmer, haven't you? If you know he's playing.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to put something
Yeah.
on
Okay.
Palmer.
Yeah. No, that's fair. You can vice Palmer because you know you go early, and you get it
Yeah,
just in case there's a problem later on down the line. That's
yeah,
good advice. That's good advice.
yeah.
That's Andy Martin style advice. Like
You
back
got to do
back the early
something.
kickoff in case the king dies type thing.
But yeah, anything could happen, couldn't it?
Yeah. We don't know. We don't know.
But then you do that. Let's just say you vice Palmer and he hauls again, and then you got to wait a week to see whether your captain plays. So this next game week, let's talk about this game week because next game week we're going to definitely do more pods between now and then to talk about next game week.
This is
But
true. This is true. Let's talk about our scores. So as you said, fifth green arrow in a row. You were pretty petty with me in my Asian Cup yesterday.
I liked it.
So,
Hibbo started being petty to you, so I thought I'd go with it.
so 93 points for me, 92 for you. So I'll take
Well
that as a small win. We've both got 2 transfers as well because you had 2 transfers previously, only took 1, and I rolled,
Yes.
which was nice. Good position to be in. Obviously, I had Foden and Alvarez already in, so that was nice for me to do. So I had 93 points up to 2.1 million, which is great. Areola, which which was obviously hilarious. Everyone thought, bench the penalty save. Yep, well, yes, you did, and it paid off. Trent with nothing, Gabriel and Porro. So defense is just a pile of crap everywhere. Like defense was just rubbish everywhere because there were so many goals.
Rubbish.
Foden, 12, 18 for Palmer, 16 for Salah, 9 for Son, 8 for Watkins, 2 for Solanke, which is this is like the perfect front 7, actually, because the one guy that plays Tottenham doesn't return. It's a dream. Everyone else returns. It's perfect. So,
It's a dream.
yeah, a shit ton of goals, 6 goals, and what's that, 6 goals and 5 assists? Madness. Lots of returns. Gordon with a return on the bench, and Dubravka obviously on the bench as well, but that doesn't matter. Up to 2.1 million. We keep going. That's five weeks now. 5.1 million I was game week 15, and now I'm 2.1 million. So at this rate, I'll be number 1 in 4 weeks' time. Can't wait.
Easy game, mate.
Can't wait.
Easy game. Yeah, beat me by 192. Same thing in defense and keeper, obviously. Salah cap obviously makes up for the fact that I didn't have as many goals this week, but Son, Saka, Palmer. I mean, the midfielders. That's why midfield is just so big, isn't it? Because I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, can play 4 defenders for a bit and so forth." Look at your defenders compared to midfielders. Midfielders just bang. And there's some really good strikers that tick. And now we've got another big boy coming back. But yeah, probably. I mean, the only attacking blank, Solanke for us, and Bowen for me. I was quite happy with 3 points at the end of the game because all I wanted was that Areola clean. I was just please clean.
Desperate.
Just get back, Jared. Do whatever you need to. Just get me the 14 points between you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you'd have bitten someone's hand off for 14
Bitten
points.
your hand off.
14 points between the two. If it like 10,
exactly.
It would have been like 12 and 2. You'd have been like, yep, that's perfect.
Yes, I'm exactly right. Exactly right. So yeah, but it was also in the back of my mind that if Areola lost the clean, suddenly it was bad because I had double blank. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like I'm all in on one here. But yeah, fantastic. It's into 200k. That's my highest rank since like game week 2. I mean, I forget it, but we had a fantastic game week 1, and that just gradually got worse. But yeah, from 1 million, I think in game week 15 to 191k is phenomenal.
It's good.
Real happy.
Good. I'm being asked where I think I could finish. I mean, look, I don't know, and to be honest, I don't care that much. I'm just trying to just sneak up as much as I can, as quickly as I can. And I'm not making rash decisions now, but this is a time where engaged managers are just going to start to sort of drive on, right?
And make better decisions or make decisions because, like, don't underestimate how many, even in the top 100k, there'll be people that are dead teams. There will be people that are dead teams in those things. We've seen it with Haaland ownership. Haaland ownership's been like 30% no matter what, at any rank. Even in the top 10k, 30% of people are playing him when they know he's not playing. So don't underestimate that. And now we've got Son and Salah not in the game. I think someone said earlier something like 50,000 people have bought Kudus in this week.
Yeah.
like, this is fantastic. I have a thing. I don't know. Did I mention this a week or stuff? But about live FPL, where on live FPL, I always look at the value that I've got on the pitch and compare it against the different
You mentioned
places.
this. You mentioned.
mentioned
When
this
did
to
you
you, didn't
mention
I?
this to me, or I think you might have mentioned it in Discord.
Yeah. But I always look at it. Always look at when the game updates. The first thing I go look at is how many pounds have I got on the pitch compared to the top 10k, compared to overall, and compared to the elites. And this week, and I always try and get myself to 85 because I always think you've effectively, I think you've got 17 million is like the least you can have on your bench. So if you've got yourself 85, it's like you've already got a team value of 102 million. Definite.
I don't even know how you do
85.
this. I don't even know how
Eight.
you do this. By the way,
What do you mean?
how you check the value?
So if you go onto live FPL, there's a bit where it
Or do you
says
mean further
your
down?
team. No, yeah. So on live
Oh,
FPL
okay,
on your game
yeah.
week, there's your team versus top 10k overall and elite managers.
Okay, yeah,
And
gotcha.
in that, it says budget to play. So my
Yeah.
budget to play this week was 85.5.
Yeah, big.
But the top 10k had 78.3.
Yeah,
The overall average in the game had 64 million quid on the pitch.
yeah. Which means there's a lot of people that it's all Haaland money, just dead
All
Haaland
Haaland
money on the
money.
bench.
So I had 20 million quid more than them to spend. I should be able to use that to gain more points.
Yeah.
The elite managers had 81. So I still had 4 million quid more on the pitch than what they did. I always think when I've got more money than everybody else, provided I'm not stupid with it, I should be able to use it in a good
Yeah.
way. So when people say about like, would I keep Salah and Son? No, I won't, because I think I can make more by getting the money on the pitch. I just always think that works. I think it probably works slightly less this season, previous seasons, because we haven't got so many good 10, 12 millions
Yeah, we
that
always
players
had
that we've had.
Yeah, we had a
The
few last
Kanes,
year.
the
The
Vardys
Kanes,
before.
the
you know,
Manes, those guys.
yeah. So I don't think it's as important, and loads of premium defenders, and so I don't think it is as important necessarily this season as previously. But I always just feel like it's a relatively good position. Like, what's the point in chasing team value if you don't put it on the pitch?
That's fair.
So yeah, that's something I'll continue to look over the next few weeks, because I believe that lots of people won't spend that money, and I think I can make more than the 8 points it might take me to get them back by putting the man in the pitch. So yeah, good.
Move on to the leagues. So the main league is now shut. I shut it. Did I shut it? I was going to shut it. I'm shutting it. The main league is now shut because we are not a podcast where you can just dip in game week 37 and sitting in like OR rank 3 and just take over the league. You can't do that in our league. You have to earn it. So right now, Scott Forrest is topping. So Scott and Anise are both ranked 196. So absolutely mental. And then, so yeah, Scott, Anise, Joe, who's been messaging me on Twitter constantly, just showing off his team, bastard. Nkunku, oh my god, I want to say this. Nkunku Cucumber. Nkunku Cucumber. That's hard. Anyway, Adam Harvey, well done. You're in joint third as well, and then FC Barcelona, John O'Shea.
John O'Shea's got 464 points in December.
Yeah, it's a lot of points.
Wow, like I've been feeling pretty good in having over a 400-point month, but 464 points.
It's a lot of points. Well, I mean, like Erky in our Discord, he won our Discord Manager of the Month, 449 points. So shout out to you, Erky. Your chip is on its way. My wife put it in the post today, so it's on the way.
Good
well
stuff.
Done to you.
In the chat tonight, CL says, "Come on, boys, I'm number 6." I'll take your word for it. I can't see it, but let's call you out anyway. We're all friends here.
I mean, number 6 is Christian Lariche. So
there you go. We'll give it.
There you go. Joint 6th with Arush Jamadar as well. 2 points behind the top 5. Well done to all of you. You're all much better than we are, and you're smashing it. So hopefully you stay up there. Checking as well. I mean, I had a quick check of all like because in the first 5-6 weeks you check, and like the top 20 have all played every chip. But
Yeah.
now we're into the period where, you know, you see here that Adam played his bench boost. He's the only person in the top 9, well, 8 actually. So 9 and 10 have also played their bench boost. 11 free hit. There's a few others, but mainly it's all just first wild card. So it's very much now the good teams are taking over. Yeah, and Christian has the highest team value as well, 106.8.
That all plays.
A lot of money.
That all plays into
lot of
view
money
as well. You know, we've got more money. We have to put more money on the pitch. We've got the chips. We've got all of those things. These are all reasons why we will. Now, maybe in the next few weeks it'll be a little harder to climb because the wild cards are going to start getting played again. So maybe we have to just, you know, push through and don't push as fast as that. But I feel like it's I feel like everyone, if you're engaged, keep going.
Exactly.
And we're not just saying that because mostly, you know, viewing numbers drop off a cliff after Christmas. We are saying that because we believe it.
Stay here. Obviously, big talking point. Salah and Son, gone. They are now gone. To AFCON and the Asian Cup. And so, yeah, there are some graphics. I didn't pick up the graphic. There are some graphics showing when they may come back, depending on like where they reach in the competition. But, you know, as far as we're concerned, we need to replace them. And we need to get points on the pitch, money on the pitch, so that we can, you know, keep taking advantage of the fact that we're not bringing these guys in because people are still bringing them in.
There'll be really good threads over the next few weeks that tell us as to why we should keep one or what we should do. I don't see a way that I do keep them.
Do you think you're going to do
this week?
I was going to say, are you going to do one and then one? Just because obviously we've got that Haaland transfer to think about as well, and obviously these are two midfielders, so you'd be taking a hit. Yeah. So, like for me, for example, because I've got 8 attackers, like I can do it really easily. I can just bench one, play 4, 3-4-3, and away we go.
Seems I don't think you have to necessarily even do it straight away. Like, so you might not do it. Like I say, you don't have to commit to it. You could do one this week and then see how it goes. And if a glaring opportunity turns up, you do the other one, don't you? You know, but like for example, you've got 8 attackers. If one of your 8 attackers or one of the ones that can play gets injured, but it's a small injury, you might go, that's fine. I can just bench that one now rather than that. Like I previously I'd have sold it, and then work through it. Like,
yeah,
we've got a lot of time. We've got this game week, and then the next one's the end of the month.
Yeah, because we've got FA Cup, Carabao Cups, and then FA Cup 4th round, and the little mini break.
Yeah. So, and it's not like then that although we've only got 2 Premier League in January, there are games to play. There's 2 FA Cups plus potentially 2 Carabaos for some important teams. Landscape changes really quickly.
Where are your first thoughts for your money then? Where's it going to go? Because I just feel like you're just going to go Odegaard with your first one.
No.
Because you've got Bowen and Saka, right? Already?
Yeah. I think we should save this for the weekend.
Oh, okay, cool.
We are in game week review. Everyone's going to want it and stuff, but we got content to do with these ones. But my first thought is sell Salah of the 2, not Son.
Okay.
Just because of the money. I've only got 3 million in the bank. And so for me to get Haaland, the best way is to sell Salah.
Okay. So then what, mate, you said this is next week's content. Let's not ruin it.
Yeah.
So where do you want to start?
Well, let's talk the games, and then we're going to pick up how we feel about the players.
I know the games. Where?
Oh, we got to go Liverpool game.
The game that broke Sertalp's chart.
Incredible.
And broke pretty much every chart.
Every chart.
I was quite happy at half time.
Next year.
7.718. It is the most insane thing I've ever seen. Genuinely the most insane thing I've ever seen. Like Dubravka was on something. And like people are saying like Darwin's misses were bad. Some of them were. Dubravka made some unbelievably good saves as well. They're
Made
ridiculously
himself
good
really
saves.
big, didn't
Really big.
he? Even that first penalty before he took it behind the goal, he looked massive.
Yeah.
He
I don't
really
know.
does feel the goal.
I don't know why. Like, I don't know why. See, do you remember when he missed his one last year against Leicester? And it was a case of because he's missed like 4 out of 10 now or something
It's
like that.
always that miss as well. It's always that right
But
half.
I feel like that's his go-to once he's taking his next pen. Normally, if he's missed, because it's. I think I said it before. Like when all you want to do is get a good strike on it, and naturally
Yeah,
your instep is going to just give it. If you look to hit it down the middle and you hit your instep, it's going to move left slightly or right as a left footer.
yeah.
So it's always going to be in that good height area for a
That
keeper to save. And
I'm
Dubravka just
surprised at it.
guessed.
I'm surprised he did it in that space because, like you say, he'd started to show more confidence that he didn't have to take that type of penalty.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't. I
Um,
was. Yeah, it surprised me
can
for
we
sure.
blame the hair?
It does. I mean, I'm not joking. He looks like he's about 10 years older.
Yeah,
He
yeah. He
just, he just,
suddenly
he
he
suddenly just
suddenly
looks old.
looked his actual age.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was him, I'd have just taken my shirt off to get the booking, just to show off that you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You might look at my hair, but look at this physique. That like they are going to miss his play though. Like he is such a play. The balls, the nice little intricate balls, the ball from the outside of the foot to the
To
that
Gakpo.
finish from Gakpo was just horrific,
Oh
mate.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Well, it was who was I? Yeah, I messaged because editor tweeted it, and I said to him the worst touch ever, and he was like, yeah, those. And he's right. The scuff finishes though, because keepers don't.
yeah,
You don't train for scuffs.
Darwin whacked three of them,
Yeah,
and
and he's got
Dub
them all.
stands up for all of them. He has the scuff of scarves, and it just trundles off. Like if I was Darwin and I watched that,
He'd be
I'd have punched him
fucking.
when he got back in. He'd have probably missed with a punch too, but you know, he'd have had a go.
I must
Like
be
you did
gutted.
feel for him. You did feel for him. But the number of times he played that nice little cute inside ball,
Yeah,
he's just grown every single year he grows his game as an all-round player. Like he never used to have to bother with that because Trent was out there crossing. Now, you know, he just finds ways. It's an incredible number of creative passes that they're losing. And you do wonder about I do wonder about whether Elliot plays a little bit. Um, because maybe they need the creativity more than they need the extra goal scorer.
probably.
Um,
And what you think they go? So it feels like it'll set up as a 3 at front, but it'll feel more like a 4 in midfield.
maybe
Soberslide more central.
Soberslide done his hammy
Oh, he
apparently.
didn't he? Yeah.
Mm,
So McAllister
we
then.
don't we don't know. Yeah, I mean, Mac might be on pens, mightn't he?
Surely. Surely
Surely.
he is.
It
Surely.
maybe Mac 10's the play.
Mac 10. Go back there. Maybe.
Mac's the play. But
Can't see. I mean, unless Jota just takes him, which
yeah,
is also like Jota's got rank, hasn't he? Not.
you'd
I mean,
think Jota takes it.
I mean,
But then
McAllister's won the World Cup, so it depends on what kind of rank you want to pull.
I mean, the obvious is everyone thinks it's going to be Jota, Diaz, Darwin. But like, Jota's played on the right before. Darwin can play channels, but it's all set up quite nicely at the moment. It's all working really, really well. Like the most natural replacement for Mo is Harvey Elliott.
Yeah.
Maybe they just think we'll still get the goals anyway. It's going to be. There was also the fact that Trent passed him the ball.
No, I'm not buying that.
There is also
I'm
the
not
fact that
buying
he
it.
passed him the
I'm not buying
ball.
that. I'm not buying it.
When Trent, if Trent didn't get a naught pointer in this game, we'd be thinking about it for cap again. We would be really thinking about it. It's that little naught pointer in the back of your brain that says it's not a double. It could easily be a naught pointer in any game. And Bournemouth are good at home. So yeah, we'll we'll see how they go. But
Darwin 12 out of 12 on pens, apparently.
Darwin 12 out of 12 on pens.
Just throw that in. I mean, I will not own Darwin Núñez. And I can appreciate that he gets lots of chances, but just Like, there's got to be a point at when you say like he just will not finish. And fine, if he gets one, then he gets one. Okay, good.
Even if he'd scored, I mean, shall I quickly try and see if I can check and see what his BPS was?
You can do.
What did you do about Newcastle assets? Well, I'm quickly checking this. I think Gordon's just fine.
Well, they've got City next, right? And then they've got a good set of fixtures. So
Yeah.
I don't think we need to jump. So even those that have got trips and stuff like that, I mean, trips, official statement was groin, unofficial statement could be something else, so we don't quite know there yet. And, really, we're not going to get very much from Eddie Howe. I don't
No.
think they're a problem. I mean, this is just, look, this 7.71 XG, this is just ridiculous. I mean, this game doesn't happen normally. This is not a normal game.
It's not a normal game. Weather, tide, everything else. We should all of this part, like reset, is say every team should be fresher. Every team should have people back. Every team should play better and more accustomed to how we'd expect them to.
Yeah, I don't know who Newcastle have got in the FA Cup this weekend, because that could depend on whether they, put out a significantly weakened lineup. I don't know.
I don't know.
Trying to have a quick scan, but I still don't think it's a problem. I think you can hold. I don't think it's a sell.
I think Gordon's such an easy hold. Such an easy hold for me. Isak, if I had him, he might. If you had Isak and Alvarez, who would you make way for Haaland out of the two of them?
I'll probably still go Alvarez, because Wilson's injured, right? So I think you still want the striker from Newcastle if you're going to keep him.
Make their way to Sunderland in the FA Cup.
Oh, fuck's sake! So about three or four more injuries after this weekend. Then perfect. Well, I guess it's just wait and see. And I think a lot of this is wait and see. Like, we've still got 10 days until the deadline.
Yeah.
So wait and see.
Mad
game.
Mad game. Where do you want to
go? Let's go here. Let's go City. Get this out of the way. Foden was unbelievable. And Alvarez was also unlucky not to get more. Was really frustrating.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They didn't show much here, but they were always in control of the game. And definitely.
That's the tombstone line, though, isn't it? They are always in control of games.
Always.
Is the frustrating thing, I think, always about, especially when you captain City players, as even happens with Haaland, is when they start controlling. You're like, fuck.
You just want them to keep punching, don't you? So you can see, like, Rodri scores and then they get a couple away and they go, "Oh, we'll just see this out till half time, lads."
Yeah, you're just not touching the ball. And they probe and they probe and they probe and they probe. And if the opportunity arises, they still get there, but it's almost like we're going to perfect it in. And they're really good at like turning back, and they get right the way up there and then be like, nah, let's turn back. Nah, let's just go back to the set. Foden I thought was fantastic. He's so on it. He's just so on it, isn't he? Albeit it still doesn't really play out in the numbers on Foden. Like, he would be our grass player in a way. When you watch him, you're like, I really enjoy watching him. I want him in my team. And there's something even more so about wanting him in your team, because you want to benefit from when Haaland scores. When Haaland's back to captain, you want that space where you're like, well, I want somebody else as well, because otherwise, what's the point?
But then I look at the players coming back in particular as well, and their players. Well, I mean, Doku's not necessarily proven yet, apart from that one game, but they're players that look to get into positions where City create chances from, right? So, I mean, just because Kev creates chances from fucking everywhere.
Anyway.
like literally everywhere. And so Haaland will be looking for those, or he'll be looking for Haaland, either, or maybe even for Foden. You never know. But KDB is going to be involved somehow, most likely. And Doku's just like, he's just a fucking Energizer bunny. You just can't stop him. He's just relentless. So, and they do love that little cutback if they can't break down, and they're going to need someone to. I don't know. I just feel like Grealish is just slightly off it. I don't know. I felt like Grealish is just a touch, but maybe it's just because, like in this game, for example, Sheffield United was so condensed at the back that it's just difficult for him to get a little bit of space. And as you say, they're so good at turning back that it almost becomes a default option.
Yeah, these were the games where these are the games that he bought Doku for, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and these were the
exactly.
games because he's got the actual pace to get in. And if you had Doku and you had KDB, well, KDB with the ball on the right and Doku coming on the left, it's still really good for Erling potentially, and it's still really good for the second person that would sit around them. You're still not sure whether that's going to be Foden or Alvarez, but when I watch this, I'm like, surely it's Foden over Alvarez if you were putting one of the two in this team. Surely, like I don't know what more Foden could possibly do to get a run.
He's started like 17 out of 19 games. He's in there, and is that a result of Kev being out? We don't know. It could be.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's why I do think again this just comes back to waiting, isn't it?
So you just wait until we've got a game at least. We've got the Newcastle. Well, the Newcastle game for a midfielder to come in. I don't think you need to rush to that game, do you? It's the Sheffield United game, it's the Burnley game. What's this?
The Burnley game.
Burnley game that you want.
There is an argument that you don't bring any City in this next game week, and you wait to see if you get a leak for Burnley. Because imagine you bring one in, they don't play at Burnley. Like, and imagine that one that doesn't play is Haaland even. is we don't know any of these things, but we might know for the next game week. Even if you do know, is it the best fixture? Well, Newcastle are not in the greatest space. It's difficult. It's really difficult to go in with it. That the gap between the Burnley game, which is a Wednesday night, the Brentford game after is a Monday night game. So they've got a nice little gap there as well. So you don't expect they would rest people for that Burnley game. I wouldn't expect them to. And the deadline's on a Tuesday. So again, we don't necessarily get stuff from it. But there is some stuff in there that says you might want a chance not holding or City assets if you haven't got them for one more week. It's horrible though, isn't it? If you knew that Haaland's starting, you just want him in your team.
It's tough.
You just want him in your team.
It's tough. Is there anything else from this game that we need to talk about? The Oscar Bob pass? Best pass of the season so far?
No, I remember the Oscar Bob pass.
The one through to Foden before Foden crosses it for Alvarez.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like we creamed over Lewis Miley's pass for Isak. Like that was twice as good, at least. Yeah. That was ridiculous. Yeah. That was ridiculous. The little drag back on it as well. A little drag back and then just to play it through. Ridiculous.
Ballers. Defense. I still like Vardiol. If I'm going to have somebody out of that defense, it's Vardiol for me.
Fair enough. Not interested personally. Just
they have to. It's always been that thing with City defenders that the chances of them getting into the bonus unless they score or assist is so impossible, even if their baseline's great, because the players score goals.
It's only really been Cancelo that's been able to break that in the past 5 years.
As soon as like Rodri scores, well, that's a problem for bonus. And then Alvarez and Haaland are both strikers. So
So that's
they're
a
a problem
problem.
with defenders. And then if Foden's creating the amount that he's creating at the moment, that's a problem. Bernardo creates a load, so if he scores, it's a problem. Even Grealish works hard enough that he has a good baseline that if he scores, it's a problem. It's just impossible for defenders. They're just 2 or 6 defenders. It's
Yeah.
never going to do it.
Yeah, just a note in the chat. Lard says there's 200 people watching, but only 22 likes. Guys,
Yeah.
you need to like
No, I've
need to
got
like the video.
52 on mine.
Oh, that's probably because Lard said it. I also like John that
Yeah.
said, Lard, the lads aren't like sluts. Yeah, we are. Like the video.
Yeah, we are.
Like the fucking video.
Absolutely are.
Let's move on.
Move on.
Let's go here. Let's go Palace. Brentford.
I'm so sad that Elise's injured.
Rushed Eze back, got injured. Rushed Elise back, got injured. It's a shame.
He's so good.
Because they're just unbelievable footballers.
They're unbelievable footballers.
And
they overperform their XG. They overperform. They carry a team that even when they play, rarely gets more than 1.5 XG, yet they still manage to return and do well. They're just ballers.
I'm just thinking Elise would have been an option over the next few weeks as well.
Yeah.
A real option.
A real option. Yeah, a real serious option, especially for 8 attackers. Although it's a benching headache, having, one of, say, Palmer, Elise, Solanke in your team and having to bench one of them every week would be hellish, but it feels like something you could muck about with. Now, not there. And I don't know. Well, at least we know Eze's on pens, I suppose, if Elise's out.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. I just Elise's just got it. From an FPL pick, just got it. I think as is the one where it's like you'd love him in your team, but do you necessarily put him in your FPL team? Never quite sure.
You feel like Elise is like the breath of fresh air from Zaha, and Eze is just a bit too Zaha for.
Bit too Zaha. He likes to get, he's in the middle, so he gets involved. He gets tackles, he gets bookings, does stuff like he can easily just walk away with 1-pointers. Elise, you just feel like every time he gets the ball, he's got such unbelievable delivery. He can get an assist, and he can get bonus off an assist. He puts so many good deliveries in, and then he can just score bangers, and it's what you want. As I suppose, the beauty of this is there should be no reason that it doesn't put the stock up of Eze because he's going to take all the corners, take all the free kicks again. Elise's out for a while. The one thing I do think is that Mateta is doing miles better than Edouard was as that central striker. He's holding the play up really, really well for them, doing good things. I saw Hodgson say basically Edouard's going to need to prove himself in training and to start playing very, very well when he's on the pitch to take the place, which suggests that Mateta's now the number 9. And I kind of like that bigger guy. I thought that was really great for both Elise and Eze, but yeah, he looks like he's
clumsy
finally.
though. Just
he is
clumsy. He's just clumsy, but
his hold-up play was good in this game. And they haven't got many big players. So yeah, they it looks like he's going to be there, but yeah, you feel like how did Palace possibly get by again without Elise? Ayew's not there. Yeah, and Brentford are just still stay away, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean Tony's back in 22. Tony's back
this week.
Is it this week?
Flag. Yeah, he's got no flag now.
I thought it was the 19th of January, but
don't know. Yeah, but
hold on. When the Wednesday game?
Yeah, their game's then.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So he's back, and his first game's Forest at home.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to punt on it, you could punt on it.
It's horrific after that.
Yeah. You can't touch Brentford, and well, you just can't touch Brentford for now.
What about if you got two free transfers and you just, instead of going to Haaland this weekend,
You just go one
go
week
Tony,
Tony
1 week Tony and cap him?
and cap him. Ugh. See, I think you're putting these ideas in my head for a reason.
I love it, but look, imagine you had a 1% Tony cap.
Do I think who else would be captained this week?
It's Saka and Palmer are going to be the leads. They're going to be the leads for this weekend.
Saka or Palmer? I mean, like, I quite happily go against Saka.
Yeah, I reckon Saka's going to be
Palmer as well, to be honest.
I reckon you're going to see something like 110% owned Saka and about 80% Palmer. And I reckon you'll still see a load of Salah, Son and Haaland caps.
Yeah,
well,
probably.
Haaland.
Well, Haaland's been the most captain player every week so far this season.
If Haaland's leaked, then Haaland's going to be the highest game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is fine. Okay, moving on. Talking to Palmer. Again, Luton causing problems for teams going to Kenilworth Road. Same thing. Same thing. I mean, I did half enjoy the confidence that Madueke spoke after match of the day, saying that they dominated the game. They really didn't. They did have a bit of the ball in the first half, but Palmer's goal was outright. Palmer's first goal was outrageous.
Yeah, the finish, cold Palmer.
Yeah, that was massively overused. It was like on Match of the Day. It was on fucking like NBCC and all this sort of stuff. ESPN. It was everywhere.
We know that's fully started for autocorrects, though, don't we? We know that it wasn't like that's how it started. Is people kept autocorrecting it, and then eventually someone just went, "We'll go with it."
Yeah, probably him. Probably he's just pissed. Yeah, yeah, probably him. I mean, he's
your man.
He's great.
Doughty.
Yeah, I contemplated it as a luxury move last week, didn't I? Looking at Kabore just because obviously AFCON and Luton will double come up. I mean, it's particularly in that last 20 minutes. You know, if they're going to be chasing games in particular, he's on all set pieces. He's the guy. I mean, Chong made a huge difference when he came on as well. Let's not mistake that. Just so much more energy. And then for some reason, I don't know why Morris is not starting, but you know, comes on second half. Course,
I like Adebayo though. I think Adebayo's good.
He's just more mobile than Morris. Isn't particularly mobile, is he?
Yeah,
he's like a Pookie.
Barkley was
he's
on
like
it.
He's like a Pookie. He's just kind of gets himself about.
Ex-club point to prove Barkley. That was but yeah, it was. I feel like Luton played the game in the right way, but they're by being so aggressive in how they try to be, they'll make mistakes and they got punished. The Palmer one was the first from Kabore, was a big punishment, and then but they come back hard, and it does tell you a little bit on Chelsea. You're like, oh, they just snuck over the line there. I mean, they shit the bed. Like once it was back to 3-1, it was like, oh god, this they didn't know what to do. They couldn't get out.
Yeah. I completely forgot the order of Palmer's goals. Actually, it's been so fucking long since the game. It's the first game of the game week.
So long.
So the first one was the left. The first one was the left foot finish into the far corner from the Kabore miss pass, wasn't it?
Yes.
And then the second one was the roll. Because I was looking at 0.96 xG and I was trying to think which was that goal, because even that goal he scored 0.96 xG. There was like 4 players around him.
Yeah. But when he actually lets go of the football, he's just standing in front of goal with open goal. So it's like he's turned it into a 0.98 xG chance by doing the most unbelievable footwork and moving himself back into that position. But eventually he just rolls the ball into an empty net. So you have to say, it's 0.96 xG. But he made that look remarkably easy considering it was not. Even the run, I don't know if you saw, but on the replay, because first of all it was offside, but he sees the left back is easily playing on side, but he fully watches. He's not watching the ball; he's watching the player.
Okay, yeah.
So it just shows a lot of football intelligence. I mean, just saw what you said about Oscar Bob and those things. These guys have had some good some good upbringing in
Yeah, yeah,
terms of
yeah.
who's been training him,
Yeah.
and he reminds. I mean, it's probably a bit much to give him this kind of label, but he reminds me of Kaka a lot in terms of like that number 10, where he's not he's not magical in his creativity and stuff like that. It's more actually like he's got a really nice touch, and he wants to score, and he's just big. He's a big number 10. Um, but yeah, it reminds me a lot of that type of player. In that space, he's he's an 8-9 million pound player.
That's a high level of praise. Kaka was a very difficult player to defend against, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, someone like big like that, when they come for you, and they play through,
Yeah.
you're like, there's some power there.
Yep.
Um,
So Chelsea have got a ridiculous run of fixtures now. Bar,
yeah,
well, I say ridiculous. Like they've had a few of their good ones already. They've still got
they have.
they've got Liverpool and City to play in the next 6 away from home, which actually isn't ideal.
Mm.
So actually,
Benching
it's not
him,
as great.
you could bench him in that home game against Liverpool, but God, it's tough now.
Yeah, just because of pens, I guess, more than anything. I'm just looking at other fixtures. When you look at the fixtures, when you look at the fixtures that are good, right? If you haven't got any City like yourself yet, then you need City to cover
But you
that.
will,
You will.
you will.
That's fair. I suppose you got Bowen to cover Bournemouth at home. Outside of that, the fixtures aren't too kind anywhere else. Brighton, Luton. No one's got any Brighton players. Arsenal, I
Tottenham,
guess.
Brentford,
Tottenham, Brentford.
Brentford.
So yeah, that
Good
looks like
player,
a
that.
good fixture now. But then you need a Richarlison now, don't you? I guess.
We do, we do. Let's because he's potentially a captain option. Let's do Fulham Arsenal, because like Chelsea have just crapped themselves against Luton. Fulham aren't doing a lot wrong every time I watch them now.
No. And if I know you can't say exclude this chance, but if you exclude that chance, right?
Yes, better team. The better team. They were like they were flat. They did a really.
I'll be honest, and this is non-game related as such, but I did a tweet out that said if Saka blanks, I'll give away a mug. And as soon as Saka scored, I switched
You
off.
turned it off. Yeah, I
Literally
knew
switched off. So I've watched the goals, but that's all I've seen.
the thing that they do well is that Polina's back. So that is just in itself huge. Huge, 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 huge. They've got Iwobi now working back hard, back in the middle. Like that's where he's a good player. He'll put a lot of press on a lot of teams. But we know that the wide people are the people that are causing all the issues. From Arsenal is really Martinelli and Saka are creating most of the stuff. So what they did do really well is they basically went really, really wide back four, and then Pelini just drops in and makes it a 5. And then Iwobi then sits in front of that, and you're like, oh, well, I don't know where to go. Tom Kearney is a bit more astute than, say, Pereira would have been,
Yeah.
in those kind of positions. So you then suddenly have like 5 and 2, and then you've got the faster guys, the Williams, as well, the Jimenez. Like those guys are going to then push forward, and Bobby obviously, gets the goal. So they kind of end up like a 5-2-3. And when you suddenly go a back 5 across them, well, there's no real number 9. Even like Nketiah didn't. Nketiah started. I thought the fact that he was playing, he would have started pushing him a bit further higher up the field, but he didn't. He was just completely ineffective. And then they've got no fullbacks that do anything, so it's completely reliant on Martinelli and Saka. But when they've pushed their fullbacks really wide on them in Castagna and Robinson, who are good fullbacks, sort of
Yeah.
always, but then they've got 3 in the middle. Like Odegaard can make all the late runs he like, but if he's running into Polina, there's only one winner there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Polina's obviously playing for the fact that he still wants to go to Bayern Munich, so therefore he's probably thinking, just get Fulham safe by the end of January and see you later. Like that's what Polina did to Odegaard. That could be exactly what he does to Palmer. That's what you're going to do. If you're Marco Silva, what are you saying to Polina? Just sit on Palmer.
Yeah.
So the person that everyone thinks they want him potentially captain is coming up against the best defensive midfielder, one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, mate, let alone the league. Like he is that level. It's mad that he plays for
from a
Fulham.
combative perspective more than anything, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all changes if Polina gets booked in the first 5 minutes, which he sometimes does. But he's back. And I don't really fancy captaining the guy that plays up against him in that position. Do I fancy capping Saka? Well, he missed 2 sitters. He scored another. I don't know. Doesn't enthrall me, does it?
I think there's Tottenham in there that makes you feel that way as well. I mean, it doesn't enthrall me, but I think it's the same reasons. I don't know who the data-led captain will be. Probably Saka.
I think it'll be Saka because of pens, I think. And I think it'll be, but I think it still end up being Haaland if Haaland's starting.
Yeah, okay. I
think it's still a bit of Haaland starting. Tough.
You wouldn't consider Bowen at Sheffield United?
Should we talk about West Ham Brighton?
We can.
Anything more? We'll talk about that next. I guess Odegaard. I don't like it. I just don't like it. I genuinely don't.
You were there
like
a couple of weeks ago, but now you've.
I'm starting to move. I just don't like it. I don't feel like he's playing even for the team, which is mad when he holds the armband. But you know what? Like when you watch him, you're like, this season, he's not creating as much. He's not. It feels just more a bit about either he's playing too much as the captain and he's doing too much work, which is not good, or it's not. I just don't get it. I don't know whether it's going to be playing with Kai and whether he's going to be playing with Tross, and I don't know what's going on with Martinelli, but it doesn't feel quite right. I think just the whole thing, I'm like, nah. And the fixtures are okay, but none of them are great. All of their better fixtures are away. And, I know the old narrative that was saying, oh, they're good away and stuff like that. But I just don't know. Just don't feel enough to tell me that I want to put £17 million worth of my midfielders all in the Arsenal camp right now.
Well, the last 2 games have been the last 2 games in particular have been an absolute horror show for them. Really. And you said like doubling up in midfield, you want a 2+ XG team.
Every week. Rain or shine, no matter what happens, you want 2 XG on those teams.
Which was fine when Arsenal were. I mean, it's weird because they go in fits and spurts, right? Because we said that this like last season was like they were bang 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 2+ XG. Start of this season they really kind of changed, sort of reverted back to what we saw the season before, which was lots of little chances. Then they had a couple of games where they just started to pick it up and bang bang, and it thought, oh whoa, okay, maybe they're just actually turning it around, and then they're just heading back to this. I mean, to be fair, I mean they created 2.8 XG against West Ham 2 weeks ago. So it is there is, but it was mainly in tiny little steps.
Yes. So let's go there then. Literally couldn't be a better segue to go West Ham Brighton.
Yeah. But there's a lot of bigger chances here than was in the Arsenal West Ham game.
Still felt comfortable all game on Areola. I didn't expect to lose the clean. I didn't expect it. I just felt like it's okay. They know what they're doing. They're Moyes. Like they're disgusting, really, in many, many ways to watch them. And so the context, you know, if you're looking at this was like a horse racing thing, is like that, like you'd say, oh, okay, Arsenal got that. Okay, how did that horse do that they do next time? Oh, they let somebody else do exactly the same. And what West Ham did, I saw Sudge tweeted about this, and it's exactly how I felt about it. They what West Ham and Moyes saw what we did playing against them. Tottenham are a team that go out the blocks fast. We, you know, again, we blew Bournemouth away with 2 goals immediately. Bournemouth could have been the better team for as much as they wanted after that. They were still 2-0 down. Um, and but we tried that against Brighton and we got punched in the mouth. And we were 2-0 down ourselves by opening ourselves up against this team.
Yeah.
Um, West Ham just killed the game for 25 minutes, just killed it. We're like, nah, nothing is happening here. You can have the ball, but nothing is happening here for 25 minutes in it. Like, what are we looking at there? 0 XG in the entire game for 25 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much.
They just said, first half, no, nothing's happening here. And I did think that last 15, 20 minutes, I, I know there's not one decent chance for Brighton, but West Ham, they played it like it was rope-a-dope because they were suddenly comfortably the better team for that last 20. They were knocking on the doors. And then they were like, oh, Brighton were like, yeah, we're pretty good here. We're gonna do stuff, but they just sit in. They just sit in West Ham. What does that mean for Bowen? He's so reliant on Paqueta.
I was going to say, is it because of Paqueta and Kudus not having his friends there?
He, I don't think
You feel like
so.
he'll benefit with
Honest.
Antonio coming back in and he can sit back out to the right hand side.
I genuinely don't necessarily think so on Bowen with this one. If Bowen, Bowen's volume's not been there all season in terms of shot volume, in terms of, you know, touches in the box, any of that sort of stuff. Anything you look at, again, we'll do this before we come back, but all his volume's not there. What he does do is he puts himself in the right position that if the chance comes, it's a high quality chance and he's good enough that he'll finish it.
Yeah.
So his one shot that he had took an absolute worldie from Steele to push onto the post. Turns out the offside flag, but it was close. I'm not sure whether it would have been if it had gone in or not, but it's an absolute weldy of a fingertip to push it onto that post. But his one sniff, he couldn't have hit it any better. And that's what he's done all season. That's why he's so crap in the bonus, Bowen, is because he doesn't necessarily do the key pass. He doesn't necessarily take it, you know, all the right shots or do this, but he does so much where I'm in the right space. He's poaching. He's playing the Jermaine Defoe role type space where he's a short number 9 and he's like, I'll keep standing there, keep standing there. But if the ball never comes, it don't show up in any of these charts
Yeah.
as a good performance. And they never got the ball because Webster's really, really tall and Van Heck's a really good reader of the ball. He's a really good. That's why Van Heck's so good on baseline is because he reads really well, intercepts so many times, and can pass. So between the two of them, they were just too big for Bowen for him to really get an opportunity. It needed precision of a ball, and without Paqueta, he doesn't have it. And if Paqueta's not there against Sheffield United, well, Bowen's definitely not a cat. Is he always going to stand in the right position for Sheffield United and potentially get a shot off? Yes. Is he going to get the bonus? He'll have to score 2 probably because you still expect West Ham to clean against Sheffield United.
Yeah.
And then it's much more difficult for him. So for those that are looking at buying Bowen, what I'll say is for people that or thinking about him is that someone that owns him is this happens all the time. All the time, what you've seen here tonight is what, or last night, is what happens is he stands in the right place all the time. Does it translate to the stats? Very rarely. But when he gets it, you think he's going to score. His finishing has been sun level. It's that good. 0.6 xg per goal this season.
It's good.
So that's a significant overperformance. You know, if you compare that to Saka, Saka needs 1.1 xg to score per goal. He needs 0.6 xg and goals in the back of the net.
And
It's
then Brighton, good fixtures, couple of players missing.
just they're
Sorry,
really good fixtures. They're really, really good fixtures. Um, they're there.
does
I think.
does Estupinan enable Brighton as an attacking team?
I mean, he
Like,
knocked on the door a lot, didn't he? I think the two players, it's three players I watched when I liked it. I really like, I do like João Pedro as an asset if he's playing. He's just a horrible person, which is normally good for FPL. Two, he's brilliant at penalties, and he can play in a variety across that front line of
yeah,
positions. So he creates as well as what he does. I just thought he was there.
I wasn't paying
Gross.
huge amounts of attention, but he looked on occasion when he was picking up the ball, he was quite deep, and maybe that was just
Yeah,
because maybe that was just the nature of the way West Ham was setting up more
they
than
would just
anything.
try and jabs. They would just try and jabs.
Yeah,
They'd switch it around. Gross went into the number 9 position 10, 11, 12 times and got on
yeah.
the end of it. But he also average position of where he picked the ball up was in his own half. You know what I mean? Like he
Mm.
comes and takes it and starts and moves it. Like they play a bit like a basketball team in terms of everyone sort of moves around. But I thought Gross, was in there. If Gross was on pens, it would make a big difference. But the fact that João Pedro is now playing all the time, you're like, well,
Yeah.
that's a big killjoy for me on Gross. Estupiñán's great, but what can you do about it?
I mean, again, with these teams, they're going to spend more of their time at the end of the other end of the pitch.
Mm.
Maybe it's not a priority transfer, but you feel like he's going
Uh,
to be involved.
you feel like it's going to be involved, but how do you get there? Because how do you get there when you've got two big midfielders you want to get rid of, plus you've got a big striker that you want in? You've got free transfers basically around those players potentially. Even if you keep one, you've still got two transfers to use there. It's really difficult to
Just
do
think
it
the
this week.
fixtures. I just think the fixtures are so good, and we know Estupinan has double-digit potential. So if you feel like it's a good week, I mean, like Wolves, Luton, Palace, then Spurs, Sheffield United, Everton, Fulham, Forest.
Mm. I think if
You
you're
could
gonna
just
do it, Stupinan, you
what
get
do?
off Arsenal defence. That would
Yeah,
be
you
my
could do
way.
that. You can
I
do
would
that.
look at it, but you're leaving an elite defence. You're leaving elite like they might have got there clean this and been there great, but that West Ham kind of allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
Um, to an extent, I just
Yeah.
don't know that you need to be first man on this horse. The Wolves game isn't necessarily the game for it. If it looks good again against Wolves, then maybe that's your Luton transfer.
I can't believe you've done that. Let's move. Wolves, Everton. Probably a good time to bring this up. What happened here? Because this is not how I think I expected the game to go. I don't. This
No,
is not how we drew it up. I mean, Gary O'Neill was just completely outclassed Dyche and just not allowed Everton to create anything at all. Um,
Kuna's a really good footballer. He's a massively underpriced asset that we might not own all season.
yeah, I feel like he'll just like if he's 1 in 3, then
It's just
okay, or 1 in 3, 1 in 4. I just don't feel like. I think 1 in 3, 1 in 4 feels about right for him, and I think that puts him in the price that he is, and I think that's
yeah,
okay. I don't think it's a terrible place to be.
yeah.
Um,
I guess if he was worth any more expensive than what he is, we wouldn't go there.
no, 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 no. We wouldn't
um,
even consider it. I think.
but he's now got more points than Darwin Núñez for the season.
Yeah, that that's not a hugely impressive statistic, to be quite honest,
Yeah,
mate.
but like only Watkins, Haaland, Solanke, and Alvarez are the only forwards that scored more points than Kuna this season.
That's quite good.
It's pretty fucking good.
Yeah,
Like
that's pretty
it's
good.
it's it's getting there.
But
It
again, you only
really
want
is.
2 strikers, right? Really, I know
He's
we're going to be looking at 8 attackers or whatever, and I've had
I
3, but
know. He's got more points than Gross. He's got more points than Odegaard, players we talked about. We've got more points than Kulusevski, who's played every minute, bar last game week. He's it's been great. It's been a really good signing for him. And I'm not
I'm
gonna
just
have a
wondering
bath.
when these points are coming up because I know that didn't Neto get like 8 returns in a row or something for Wolves, and obviously he's back now.
Yeah, I
So
think the
does that
difference with
lower his
Neto,
stock slightly as well? Because there's all sorts of moving parts here. Because obviously Hichan goes off
yeah,
to goes off to Asia.
yeah, potentially he scores more goals because if Neto just gets brought in for Wang, then you've got a slightly more creative player, and it all goes to Kuna. But
Yeah, I mean it's only in the last. Yeah, I guess
it's
it's in
just
the
not going to
last like
happen, is it?
seven,
With
eight weeks.
Brighton, Man United, and Chelsea next three, we just we're not going to do it. But Sheffield United in 26 in the blank at home, maybe his captain choice.
Yeah, maybe.
like, there's an argument around when we start thinking about maybe free hit in 26. There is an argument that one of the good things about doing it is Craig Dawson. Craig Dawson on a free hit. We've all had Craig Dawson on a free hit before,
I love
and
it.
we can all do it again. Yeah, Craig Dawson, Kuna, and Neto on free hit home to Sheffield United.
Sounds fun.
I love it. I genuinely love it. It you could buy me into that for it, but I'm not. I'm not getting him now.
Fair enough.
And Everton's the same deal in it. We're not buying their players.
No, we just said don't look at them until like 30 or
We're
something like that.
very happy to see them avoid relegation, but we're not buying their players.
Oh, I'm yawning a lot. If you can't tell, I'm absolutely exhausted. People will probably tell my eyes are just like
Big new year. Big new year. We can't have many to go, can we?
what?
Let's wake
Big
it.
New
Let's wake
Year's.
ourselves up with Tottenham. I
Big
love
New
big
Year's.
news.
No, we've got Villa Burnley, then Forest United. Let's do Forest United and get it out of the way, so we can just get it out of the way.
I want to sleep some more.
Just for a minute. Just for a minute. And we're done. Perfect.
I don't know. I genuinely don't like. I keep going about. I just don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about Ten Hag. Like I say every week, I don't want to talk about him. But it's not right. It's not right. It's really easy to say there's all these other things that are wrong, but he's not right.
It's,
So even if you got the wrong players, even if you got the wrong board, even if you got wrong whatever it is, right? Some of those things. The one person that makes it better, the easiest of all, because he's the easiest changeable, is the manager. It's the easiest, but it's the easiest pawn to move. Do you know what I mean? Is that you can do it. It's really hard to change ownership, and even if you do, you've only got certain windows. You've only got certain. It's really hard to actually get rid of a load of players. Um, and even if you do, it's quite frail to do it. Like Arsenal almost did it and got away with it. They got rid of so many of their squad players that they were like, these aren't the ones for us. We'll get rid of them. But how many times they've bitten them on the arse then that they haven't got the depth, and therefore they don't quite get over the line.
but
Like
they've
it's
yeah,
still hurting
but
them
then
now.
even that it's hurting now. But they were at that time they were hovering fourth, fifth, sixth, right?
Yeah.
Like I
Oh
think they
yeah.
were out of Europe once, right? I think. And
But
that's it.
they went hyper aggressive and
Yeah,
got
they
with
went.
it.
Yeah, they went
Got
pretty
with it.
shallow. They went
But
pretty shallow
like
and built back
now,
up.
they need to spend £100 million on someone, and like, how do you get it? Because we ain't got no one to sell.
Yeah,
like for Arsenal and those wins, like Man United, the issue they've got is they've got all these players and they can't get any money from. Like there's no one they can get any money for. They're going to let Sancho go, where they spent a load of money from, and it's like, well, what do I do?
can't. Yeah.
So it is. So
So
the
Sancho's
idea,
yeah.
yeah, the idea that you change owners and suddenly you've got the money that you can spend a load that's going to make it okay. Actually, it's not.
Well, it doesn't
You
work. It doesn't
can't
work. You can't just cash inject
can't do
into a.
any of
You
that.
can't just cash inject 500 million quid
Nah.
into a football club. There's
So
something
you
called
need the
FFP that's kind of coming to try and
you
prevent that kind of crap.
you need you need to find the right profile of manager that will work this shit out. And that I always feel that's the lamest thing that anyone says about it. But who would you bring in? It ain't my fucking job, mate. It's not my job to tell you which manager's going to work because I don't know. Because I don't sit behind the scenes and know what goes on in the world and know these things. It's the job to just try it. Just find someone to try it.
There are managers out there, right? There are managers out there, and
It's,
Man
it's
United are still Man United.
it's so disrespectful to a thousand managers that are out there doing good jobs that would happily jump into this role. Like, sack the manager and you see who gives the interest, and I guarantee you'll get some good candidates. I guarantee you will. Um, until then, they're really. I mean, Garnacho at 4.8 is a joke. Like he just he's so dirty and hungry and just wants to get involved in it. If I that Elise and Garnacho were for me, if I was to go 8 attackers, then that's potentially one of the ways I would do it with Haaland was either Elise or Garnacho. Garnacho might still just be the one at 4.8. It's such a great route back to Salah as well, isn't it? When you've got that, you're not spending all the money. So yeah, I mean, he's as appetizing a player as it was than Rashford, who scored the goal, if not more. And he's 3 million odd quid less. So, yeah, he's the only one in this that does it. Gibbs White is a bit what we've said before, which is that he, even if he scores and scores a winning goal, he still doesn't get any bonus because he don't do any work. And the work he does do is kicking people and shouting at people.
Yeah.
Did you see the spin? Did you see the spin that he did on Varane?
I saw the spin.
That was magnificent.
Yeah, because he makes two big challenges, though, doesn't he? Before that,
yeah, it doesn't break. It doesn't break conversation with the ref at any moment.
No.
He's shouting at him as he does it, spins, and he doesn't even glance back to say, "I've done it." And he just carries on the conversation. But in his head, he must be thinking, "I've absolutely done him here."
Yeah,
that's as good as you take from it.
People were saying he should have gone.
Yeah, should have gone. That's what I'm saying. He's mad. Like I said when I owned him, you thought he was the best player for them. He was going to score at any point, but you also thought at any moment he's going to get sent off.
Yeah.
Go from that. What we got left?
Villa, Burnley.
He hates us.
It feels personal. It definitely feels personal.
That face Doug's making there is the face that I made when I saw Villa penalty. Oh my God, I hate him.
I mean, how long were you trying to convince yourself that it was a Trafford own goal as well?
I only saw one replay and I was like, I don't want to see any other angles because I can't work out how it's possibly gone. Hit the bar twice.
Yeah, full your boa.
That's triggering. It's an 8-point penalty.
He was nowhere near it as well. He was absolutely nowhere near the bonus.
Goes for it, and it's a 10-point swing if it misses the penalty. You know, from 8 points plus to minus two.
Yeah.
It's a 10-point swing that is of going in.
Yeah, but
wow. Yes. Yeah. But hey, they keep getting penalties. They keep getting penalties and he keeps doing what he does.
They keep getting them at home more than anything. It feels like they're all at home. They keep getting these damn penalties. Watkins, obviously no issues. I mean, obviously his name's not on here, but you know, with 2 assists, he was really good. And I still don't have an issue. Again, like I still feel like some people would you at any point, do you think you would take him out to bring back Haaland? Do you think he's ever going to be an option to take out Haaland?
No, I don't. I just he is. There's been some regression recently in his XG, but you know his mentality. You hear it when you talk. You know, this is when he's at his most dangerous, isn't it? When we all think that, oh, we'll take him out. This is like he's not immune to any of this. He knows his job is to score goals.
I look at the fixtures. It's like the 4 home games they've got, which are the games they're doing better in, Newcastle, United, Forest, Tottenham. So they've got a couple of good ones and a couple of, well, I mean, it depends on what away Newcastle team turns up, but they'll be a bit rested by then, at least, I guess. Maybe have some players back. And
I don't see him doing it. No, I don't. And again, the only reason I would be if I really started thinking
When can I
about,
wildcard him back in?
and if I was free hitting in 26.
Yeah.
So I might need to give that a bit of thought because obviously the Forest game home in 26 is a is a
Is a
biggie.
plum. Yeah, you can take that. Plum,
But if you're free hitting, you've got him anyway.
you got him anyway. Yeah.
Um, so that makes it slightly better. But I just like Watkins. Feel very happy having him in my team. 100% owned.
Mm.
He was this weekend. That was
Yeah, it was
bigger than I
Burnley. Burnley at
expected.
home.
Yeah,
A few captaincies out there.
he did.
It was a
He
bit split.
did.
It was a week where captaincy was going to be a split a bit. I know that Salah
Any
was at home, but
any chance you bring in Doug?
I doubt it.
So it makes
I
makes
doubt it.
life so easy for me if I bring Doug in. So if I bring Doug in, I've got the money for straight Archer for Haaland. Nice, easy.
So 10 million
Yep,
done.
done. Thanks very much. Stick 10 million quid on Archer, put him up to Haaland. But then who do you bench? Who do you bench this weekend? Doug? Solanke?
I mean, out of the midfielders that are in terms of top scoring midfielders, out of the ones that are available, he is the fifth highest scoring midfielder in the game right now. Obviously,
Same.
but then everyone's got Palmer, right? So if you take out Palmer, then you can't have him because everyone else will have Bowen, Saka, Gordon, Foden. Then it's Doug Luiz, Palmer, and then you've got like Diaby, Odegaard, Gross, Ward-Prowse, Sterling, players that we wouldn't get. There's really not very many options.
If I went,
There's genuinely not that. You know what? I might end up there to be fair because there's just not that many options.
if I brought in Doug this weekend, I'd have a choice between Doug away at Everton or Solanke home at Liverpool, or and that includes benching Gusto home to Fulham
You wouldn't do that.
already. I've already got Gusto on my bench.
Okay. Well,
Well, it's Gusto home to Fulham or Porro away to Man United. There's ones to work out next week, but I've got to bench one of those two. And then I'd have to bench one of Solanke or Doug as well.
yeah.
And you're like, I don't think I need those headaches in my life.
Yeah, Tom, you're saying eighth. I said the five of the available players, obviously Salah, Son, and Hwang are all gone.
All gone. All gone.
So he's fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just not many options though.
No.
And he's on pens.
And he's on pens. And when he scores a pen, it's worth 8 points. So irritating, isn't it?
That is irritating. I mean, to be fair, it's probably not far off the discussion people were talking about for Palmer, right? Apart from like Palmer, it's just easier on the eye.
Bruno. Do you remember Bruno's first season where we just kept saying, "Oh yeah, but he's always playing in the centre midfield. He's always dropping in. He's always doing it." But yeah, but he takes all the free kicks and he scores pens.
Yeah,
Fuck.
it's hard.
Damn
Man.
you,
It's hard.
Doug Luiz.
It's hard. Right, I think there's one game left. And yeah, it's us. It's us. We finally. Well, no, we're still winning, which is good.
Look,
Not
we this is running on fumes, right? This is a team
that is an
just
understatement.
adrenaline, fumes, will, crowd, everything. Like it's anything you've got in you to get over the line is all we're doing right now. You know, it tried when we were 4-0 down to still try and get back in a game just on fumes. It did it again. Like it's just get there. I don't think there's huge amounts from us to take away more than that in this, in that 2 weeks is a long time. It's an opportunity to, it might seem like it's worse because there's no Saar and Son from this team, but 2 weeks to have the opportunity with Ange to get ourselves into a space that we know what we're doing. 2 weeks for any window, hopefully Dragosin, the defender, will be in by then, but hopefully Van der Ven will be back by that point as well. I don't know much about whether Van der Ven can play right centre back to play alongside Davies, or what that means.
Just desperately trying to not put Emerson Royale or Dyer in at centre back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they'd put him there, and that makes a big deal. You'd assume it's just another bit closer to Madison being back. You'd assume Gio plays. Manor Solomon could almost certainly be back by that point as well, which might mean that he just slots into the Sun position. Kulusevski obviously didn't play this game. We'll be back.
Yeah. So do you want to know? Do you want to know? Let me. Do you want to know Lo Celso's points when he started this season?
Go on.
10, 7, 2, 11.
Good man.
Just putting it out there.
Maybe
10,
we should
7, 2, 11. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, maybe we should put it. Maybe we should buy Lo Celso.
And like one of those games was against Villa, and one of those games was against City. So
Bentancur, like you said it during the game, is like he was Rolls Roycing even more than usual in that he was playing the game.
he was just a step off, wasn't he? He was just a step off, like no sharp turns, none of this. He was just making himself in. He's getting himself in the challenge, but he was getting himself out of the challenge as quickly as possible. He was just like, I do not need to be involved here. And when he went off after about 55 minutes, it was just a case of this is what we needed from you, and we got it.
Yep. 2 more weeks of that. I expect him to play the 6.
Yeah.
I expect him to play the 6 because in the one time in the game against Villa, he played the 6. We shouldn't forget that he played that in that role. He played that. Like if we play Bentancur, potentially we could be lining up something like Bentancur, Gio, Kulusevski as the 3 across centre midfield. Brennan still on the right, Solomon on the left, Richarlison up top. We could just play 6 attackers plus Porro plus Udogie.
Plus a brand like a patched up Van der Ven and Davies.
Like,
it's just gonna be carnage.
It's carnage both ways. It's carnage, like, but it's fun. The one thing on Gio obviously is Gio takes some set pieces. Porro was never in the bonus, even at 2-0 was not in the bonus. And even at 3-0, not in the bonus. Like at any point, wasn't in the bonus. So that's
I just assumed it was him that crossed it for Richarlison at the end. I just completely assumed that it was him. Obviously, it wasn't.
Nice. Would have been nice, but but Porro was not in the bonus, and just one to watch. You know, if Gio's going to take some set pieces, and Solanke missed some chances. He's missed some chances previous this season, but the fact is he gets chances in every game he plays.
Yeah.
Really unlucky for Solanke owners that played him. You know, some people were Solanke.
He had 9 shots.
9 shots.
But yeah, 9 shots for a total combined 0.8 XG.
0.8 XG is a lot of XG.
It's a lot of XG. One big chance and then a lot of little ones.
But he was playing.
Vicario is one of the best in the league.
He's one of the best in the world, mate. Not only the league. We've lucked. Massively lucked in on keepers. But
is Richarlison? Just because there's no real options now? Because I mean, obviously with Valise now out, he's definitely out. Surely, unless. So the Burnley game could be interesting because we may see Dorrington, we may see Donnelly, right? We may see these boys come in. So that might be interesting just to see how many minutes these guys get and see if they can work within the system that they're asked to play in so that Ange can trust them with Premier League minutes. Maybe.
Really difficult, isn't it?
I doubt it's going to be happening at Old Trafford, though. I just can't see anyone getting thrown in, even like last half hour, unless somehow we're like 3-0 up at Old Trafford. I just can't see them getting minutes. So I think Richarlison's pretty secure as long as he can get through it. So
yeah. I mean, he's averaging. Again, we will talk about this before we come back. this break, but he's averaging around 70 minutes a game.
Yeah.
You kind of want that near 80. I don't mind him coming off like at some point, but near at 80 would be ideal to give him the opportunity to score and even the opportunity to make sure he gets the bonus and the likes for doing the stuff. Like he's just some of the times he's come off early is because he's already got booked. And then if you haven't scored as well, like and stuff, but look, he's so close to big hauls. It's going to be very difficult to not have him in the team. That's how I feel.
So I guess that's going to be, instead of the Odegaard type move, it's going to be a Richarlison move.
Oh, like for me, like I mean, it sounds like the most biased thing on earth, but the idea that you would put Odegaard in your team above Richarlison is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That is fair. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough one for me, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. The easier way for me to make moves this week is that I sell Solanke for Haaland. That's the easier way. Rather than go all the way out from Archer, is I keep 7 attackers and I just went Solanke to Haaland, and then I can have whoever I like in midfield, and I can potentially, including Kev, whoever I want, I can have in midfield.
Yeah.
Keeping that cheap bench. Boy, it's difficult, the idea that you'd sell Solanke, a man who just had 9 shots, the man who's...
Well, obviously he's got Liverpool, and then he's got West Ham, Forest, Fulham, then City and Newcastle before it gets better again. I think you're not going to... I mean, I think he's going to be gone by like 24 anyway, no? By the end of 24, 25.
Could well be.
So I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Just, I mean, and I guess I'm speaking from my perspective, but I think Haaland... this is stupid because it doesn't really correlate with it. I feel like Haaland will take points away from Alvarez. I don't know whether that sounds counterintuitive, given that Alvarez's best run of points is while Haaland was fit. So
exactly,
it's difficult.
It's really difficult. It's really difficult. But for those that own Alvarez and Solanke, if you get the leak on Saturday morning that says Alvarez is starting, that's a hard sell.
Yeah.
But just know that you're selling a proper talisman in Solanke, who's played very, very well, got a crap load of points. He's got 98 points now this season, and he'll continue to get points when you don't own him.
Yeah.
Tough. Well,
I think we're there, mate.
We're caught up.
We're caught up. The darts has just finished.
Humphreys won.
Yeah. Just won 7-4. So
oh well. Luke's got many years ahead of him.
Just a few. I don't think really we're going to bother with any questions today, just because. Oh no, we do.
We're doing it more.
Did we get a message back? By the way, did we get a confirmation or did we not get a response?
Let me check.
We'll just double check. Just it doesn't look like we got anything.
I haven't got confirmation yet, so we cannot.
Okay.
Cannot disclose.
Cannot disclose. Hopefully we will have.
You can all start guessing. You can leave us in chats and see who they
comments and stuff. But yeah, hopefully we'll have someone on Sunday. Been looking to speak to this person for quite a while, so kind of a.
Someone in the chat just said they're watching it now. Thanks for the spoiler. Oh, we've done it again.
How is how is that? I'm watching a stream that's behind. I've only just switched it on. First it's Villa games, and now it's the darts.
Oh God.
Well, I don't understand what's happened. Have they just?
Oh God.
Tom's never coming back.
Sorry, Tom, mate. Thanks. It was one of the Lukes that won. Right.
On that note.
I'll
speak to you later, mate. Yeah, catch you in a bit.
Yeah.
Cheers.